All right, let's jump right in. If I asked you who the father of physics is, what would you say? Well, you might be surprised to find out there's not really just one. Today, we're going to dive into the legacies of three absolute giants who completely turned our understanding of the universe on its head. So yeah, who actually gets the crown? Is it Galileo, Newton, maybe Einstein? This isn't just some simple trivia question. It's actually one of the greatest debates in the entire history of science. So let's frame this as a kind of friendly contest, right? We've got three titans, and each one of them fundamentally changed the very rules of reality. Our job is to figure out how they did it. Okay, first up in the ring, we've got contender number one, Galileo Galilei. And listen, this guy wasn't just a scientist. He was a total rebel. He had the nerve to challenge centuries of what everyone just knew to be true. And he did it with basically a telescope and a stubborn refusal to just accept things as they were. And this quote, it just sums him up perfectly. See, before Galileo came along, science was mostly just philosophy. A bunch of smart people sitting around thinking about things. Galileo was the guy who said, no, we have to test these ideas. He insisted on actually looking at the world, measuring it, not just theorizing about it. And that right there, that's the foundation for literally everything that came next. Galileo basically gave us the modern scientific method. That whole idea of come up with a theory, then test it. He showed us that the universe wasn't some magical, unknowable thing. No, it's a system that actually follows mathematical laws. For him, it was simple. Seeing was believing. All right, so let's move on to our next contender and see how this all builds. Enter Isaac Newton. I like to think of him as the ultimate architect. If Galileo was the one who kicked down the doors of the old way of thinking, Newton was the guy who came in and designed and built the entire incredible new mansion of science. And this idea, it's just so powerful. Think about it. Before Newton, everybody thought the rules for stuff here on Earth, like, say, an apple falling from a tree, were completely different from the rules that governed the planets and the stars way up in the heavens. Newton's absolute genius was realizing, wait a minute, they're the same. One single set of rules for the whole shebang. And that was his masterpiece, his laws of motion, his theory of universal gravitation. I mean, he even invented a whole new branch of math, calculus, just to describe it all. This became the bedrock of physics for more than 200 years. It let us predict where planets would be, build complex machines. It's how we engineered the modern world. So in short, Newton gave us the rulebook. But just when humanity thought we had the rulebook totally figured out, along comes our third contender, Albert Einstein, the ultimate visionary who looked at Newton's perfect, beautiful structure and decided to bend it. And oh, he really did. I mean, literally. Einstein showed all of us that the universe was so much stranger and frankly more wonderful than anyone had ever imagined. He revealed a place where time itself can slow down and where space can actually bend and warp. He didn't just add a new chapter to Newton's book, he revealed a whole new reality hiding just beneath the surface. Okay, let's just stop and think about this for a second. What he was saying is that space and time aren't fixed things. They're woven together into a flexible fabric. And gravity? It's not some mysterious force pulling things down. It's just the shape of that fabric, the curves and dips in it. And then there's the most famous equation in all of history, E equals mc squared, which revealed that matter and energy are two sides of the same coin. And the wildest part? He figured all this out not in a lab, but with what he called thought experiments, just using the sheer power of his imagination. So this table here, it really sums it all up beautifully. You've got Galileo, the rebel who showed us how to do science in the first place. Then you have Newton, the architect who built this incredible, solid structure of classical physics. And finally, you have Einstein, the visionary, who came along and showed us that the real structure of the universe was even grander and weirder and more mysterious than we ever dreamed. So, where does that leave us? Who wins the debate? Who is the true father of physics? Well, the verdict is in. And the answer is that the title is just too big for any one person. It really has to be a shared honor. Let's start with Galileo. For kicking off the entire scientific revolution and for giving us the actual method we still use today to ask questions about the universe, he absolutely earns the title the father of modern physics. Then, of course, there's Newton, the guy who gave us the laws that still run our everyday world, from launching a rocket into space to just building a simple bridge.
For that absolutely monumental achievement, he is, without a doubt, the father of classical physics.
And last but not least, Einstein, the man who completely reshaped our ideas of space and time. He gave us the tools to understand the biggest and most mind-bending things in the cosmos, from black holes to the Big Bang itself. For that, he's the father of modern theoretical physics. And let's be really clear about something. This isn't just some abstract history lesson. The work of these three amazing minds is directly responsible for the world you and I are living in right here, right now. No, seriously, think about it. The GPS in your phone, it only works because the satellites high above us have to constantly account for Einstein's theories of relativity. Those bridges you drive over, built using Newton's solid mechanics. And the entire foundation of how we experiment and test things in science today, that all comes from Galileo. Their work isn't just in textbooks, it's everywhere. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. It was never about picking just one hero. It's about recognizing that science is a long story, told by many different voices, with each giant building on the work of the ones who came before. They're like a scientific trinity, the foundation that everything else we know today has been built upon. So, all of this leaves us with one last really fascinating question to ponder. Galileo, Newton, and Einstein. Together, they gave us our modern understanding of the universe. So who's it going to be? Whose shoulders will the next giant stand on to show us what comes next?